Hello everyone, my name is Katie Hepburn and today I will be discussing if football has become too dangerous. And here is a little glimpse of my audience. American football is not for the lighthearted. It is a contact sport, a physical game where players can only be stopped by scoring by being brought down to the ground by an opponent. Recent discoveries about chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE for short, and football is allowing many to believe football is too dangerous and the rules need to change. CTE occurs when repetitive head trauma begins to produce abnormal proteins in the brain. Players can develop CTE from just playing football. No safety gear can protect against this. Recent penalties have been enforced to protect the players. Coaches now more than ever are taking educated courses to keep football safe for the players in order for them not to get hurt. The coaches have been told to tell the players to use their shoulders instead of their heads. Also have been taught how long to keep the players on the benches to let the players recover when they are injured. Coaches are using what they have learned to keep the players safe. This reduces severe concussion rates. Recently, the league donated $30 million to the National Institute of Health to study brain injuries. The brain tissue of 128 football players who before their deaths played the game professionally, semi-professionally, in college, or in high school. Of that sample, 101 players, or just under 80%, tested positive for CTE. Many of the players who have donated their brains for research suspected that they might have had the disease while still alive. Medical experts suspect repeated head trauma can lead to mental illness and suicide, and there have been a rash of former NFL players' suicides in the past. For example, former Chicago Bears star Dave Durson committed suicide in 2011 by shooting himself in the chest, reportedly to preserve his brain for examination. Those on the other side of the argument believe football players know the risk and thus should be allowed to play. Boxing, soccer, and other sports also have been these problems that they have yet to ask themselves, is it worth it? Bull riding is dangerous, yet to the media it doesn't seem to bring up how dangerous it is, which is probably the most dangerous sport out there. Could it be all the money involved in the sport of football? Dave Ash from Texas, which was a quarterback who suffered 3 concussions, chose that it was not worth it and is no longer playing football. LeBron James will not allow his children to play football for safety reasons until they are old enough and can understand the medical risks that go into play. On the other hand, many continue to play, and it is their choice. Some of these football players see the money as worth it, or they just love what they do, which happens to be playing football. Football has always been a brutal sport. In the early days of the game, President Theodore Roosevelt threatened to shut the college program down unless the young men from Harvard, Princeton, and Yale stopped dying on the field. In the mid-1920s football era, the helmets were made of leather and no shoulder pads were worn. Although the players were smaller than the players we have today, they were still deaths. In the 1950s, come shoulder pads and the players grew bigger. In 26, hitting players that were triple the size than them in the mid-1920s. Whether you believe that football is too dangerous or not, the facts remain the same. You have a higher chance of getting CTE and other medical problems, just as a police officer could get killed doing his or her job. This is America, the land of the free, and with that, we should be able to choose the career we want, whether if it puts your life in danger or not. As Obama said, I tend to be more worried about college players than NFL players, in the same sense that NFL players have a union. They are grown men. They can make some of these decisions on their own, and most of them are well compensated for the violence that they do to their bodies.